For as long as I have been on YouTube, indeed for quite a few years longer, I have been using this induction wok burner as my primary heating source for wok cooking. Now, if you're not already on board the induction train, the purpose of this video is not to try to get you to switch from gas to electric. Indeed, this video is specifically for the girlies who already get it. This Nuwave induction wok hob has been my standard at home as well as at certain less than completely legal commercial operations, which have long since disappeared into the ether and haven't killed anybody, so good luck on trying to get me on that. I've used this thing so much that all the labelings that tell you what each of the buttons do has completely fallen off. And I've featured this thing on every single wok video that I pretty much have ever done. I have definitely put this thing to the limit of its use, and certainly beyond the limit of its expected reasonable use. I have never tried upgrading it because as far as non-industrial commercial wok burners go, this is the only residential game in town and has been for many, many years. Until very recently, this is the Abangdun Induction Wok hob, also available on Amazon. And as far as whether or not this is an improvement on the Nuwave, there are some things that make me say immediately yes, and some things that make me a little nervous. They are about the same size. They are roughly around $200. This one is a little bit more expensive, and they both come with woks, which we'll talk about later, because we definitely need to talk about that. The Abangdun has one dial that can switch between uses. This one has two dials, one that controls the time that this thing will remain on, as well as one that controls the power. I gotta say, design-wise, I prefer this one. It is much less confusing and a lot more easy to use. The Abangdun is also slightly more powerful, having a max output of 1700 watts, while this one has max output of 1500, which when you are cooking with a wok is a noticeable power output difference. There are also some build quality differences, starting from the cord. This one is kind of a loosey-goosey general appliance cord, one that you would see for any speaker system or game console or whatever, whereas the one from the Abangdun is very much an appliance cable. It's giving sturdy, it's giving strong, it's giving, I'm not going to overheat if you use this for too long. This is a cable for an appliance, whereas this is a cable for a gadget. That being said, again, have used this for many, many years, and nothing has caught on fire yet. Except for one time where I did accidentally ignite a pool of oil in this wok. It got so hot that the oil in it just like caught on flame because I underestimated the power that this thing has. I won't do that again. There is one main difference in design here that makes me question the longevity of this appliance. You will notice that both of these have rings around them and that they're both indented so that they can both accommodate the round bottoms of woks. The Nuwave one is very deep, whereas the Abangdun one is not deep at all. The purpose of this depth is so that the wok actually rests on these ridges over here and only floats above the glass surface of the induction unit, which allows you to move your wok around without actually scraping the glass surface of the induction unit. The Abangdun one does not do that. It rests right on the glass. It's still a concave shape that does accept round bottom woks, but as you move the wok around on the burner, you are indeed scraping on the surface of the induction unit. And while I admit that this is a very smooth surface and this doesn't seem graty or scratchy or unpleasant at all, any kind of situation where the metal is always touching the glass is going to make me nervous, for not just because of impact reasons, but also temperature reasons. I'm not really scared of this pan getting so hot that it overheats or damages the unit because it's not actually touching the unit. This one is. I don't know if this is some kind of hyper-tempered super glass, but there seems to be a lot of confidence in the durability of this surface. Another wild thing that this company has is that this is its only residential unit. Apart from this, they only make restaurant-style equipment. So I guess they have that behind them, but otherwise, it still makes me very nervous to have this thing actually come in contact with my wok. But if that's how they want you to use it, that's how I use it. Now, I have said before that both of these machines come with their own woks. The one that comes with the Nuwave Wok is a very standard run-of-the-mill wok that you would find at any Chinese grocery store for like 30, 40 bucks. It's perfectly usable, it's perfectly reliable, it's carbon steel, takes to a seasoning quite well, but it's not anything special, which is more than I can say for the one that came with the Abangdun one, because they hook you up with what appears to be a hex-clad dupe. If you're not familiar with hex-clad, it is a ridged stainless steel pan with elevated stainless steel ridges that covers a non-stick base. Interesting choice considering the fact that I would never use this pan under wok cooking conditions. I don't think this is hex-clad. I'm pretty sure this is like a fake-o version of it. But this is what came with it, and I'm curious to use it, but at the same time, I would never do so. The high temperatures that come with wok cooking are so far beyond anything that I would be comfortable using with a non-stick pan that I have no idea why they decided to go with this route. Maybe there's something with this non-stick coating that makes it super special, but I've got some perfectly good carbon steel woks that I can use, including this absolutely amazing one from Oxenforge. Both of them work perfectly fine with this hob. The only reason that I would use something like this would be pure morbid curiosity. It looks kind of cool though, I will admit. Now, as far as power and usability, I already said that I prefer the one dial interface of this system. Both of them allow you to adjust the output based off of temperature, as well as wattage. So if you are setting it based off of temperature, and you are saying that you don't want the pan to get any hotter than 450 degrees, you just set it to 450 and that's what it will try to keep it at. You can also just set it by power output, which is kind of like the electric version of just fire. So imagine like 200 watts would be like a low burn, a very, very tiny flame. 1000 watts would be medium, and like 1500 to 1700 would be like max flame. That is just something that you get used to when you switch over to induction. It goes from big number to big fire, and that's all the adjustment you really need to make. Once again, this one is slightly more powerful, and also this one seems to have more of an advanced induction technology that allows it to constantly have a steady rate of output. Older ones kind of pulse really quickly, and that's how they kind of get the heat going. The Nuwave does have a habit of overheating when going through rigorous stir-frying use, and it will just kind of shut off in the middle of it, and you're kind of stuck there waiting for it to cool down enough and like charge back on. I have yet to put this through any kind of hardcore testing. I've just made omelets in this, and I've noticed that the steady rate of power is just very, very nice so far. I've done delicate work on this. I've yet to do any kind of heavy duty work. I might put that in a second review. But as of right now, usability wise, this guy is kind of winning for me. In regards to my own personal preferences, I'm completely unbiased in this. I bought both of these things with my own money. So neither of these were sent to me for free, and I have no real prior relationship with any of the companies that we're talking about here. So I have really no reason to be biased towards one or another, besides the fact that, you know, we've been through a lot together. But that being said, you've also been a little bit of a pain in the ass at times. We've yet to see. So my final thoughts for this video at least are thus. I love this thing. It is not perfect by any means, but for home use, it gets the job done. It's also been the only game in town. So they have not had to do an upgrade. They have not had to do any kind of improvements to this thing whatsoever for the past how many years that it's been out. This thing is definitely due for a refresh. And the fact that they haven't is a big strike against them. Because now there is a new girl in town with a simplified interface, better build quality, and a different approach that makes me as a pro user nervous. But if it ends up lasting as long as this one does, then I have no place to complain about how they get the job done. If this thing breaks, I will very, very quickly be posting a follow-up. But as of right now, I have no reason to believe that it will. The main drawback that this machine has for me is not the machine itself, but the pan that came with it. Again, I would never use a non-stick wok for anything, let alone a possibly fake hex-clad one. The flame designs at the very end of it are really cool though. It fits the parent unit just as well as the carbon steel one, though this one might be just a little bit lighter. I just honestly don't know what they were thinking of this. I haven't cooked with it yet. I don't really plan on it, but I guess we'll try it out eventually. Maybe I'll do like a veggie stir fry in a non-stick wok. But again, if I was gonna do any kind of high temperature wok cooking, which is literally the beauty of wok cooking, I would not be doing it on a non-stick anything, even a hybrid non-stick anything. This just baffles the mind. So I guess my recommendation would be this. If you don't already have a wok and you want to buy the cheaper unit of the two, this works out perfectly fine. If you already have this and want to make the upgrade, this is great because you're going to want to use this with that. That is going to be a better situation. If you are in my situation where you have even an aftermarket premium wok, best situation.